Welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. Super excited today to have a kind of old friend. I don't know if it's old, but I feel like I've known you for a very long time.
Yes.
And to start off today, this Tuesday, we as an introduction, I think most of you know, or half of you at least know. This is really about educating. It's about giving back, and so we started this purely out of a response and a request that we start sharing more information about what you can and cannot invest in, what people are investing in. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we talked about precious metals. We talk about real estate all the time. I did a webinar, I think this last week, talked about a cutting horse. Do you know what a cutting horse is?
I've never heard of such a thing.
So we're not here to talk about cutting horses, but I talked about cutting. Someone bought, sorry, side note before I introduce you, someone bought with their self-directed IRA a cutting horse. And they rent that out to rodeos, and they get their month or their weekly like revenue from leasing out their horse.
I remember we had a guy once that did John Deere tractors, bought a bunch of them, lives in somewhere in Kentucky, and then would lease them out to local farmers, and he was making his revenue in his self-directed IRA, tax-free.
Tractors. I mean, look, so we're here today to share something with you specifically about Chris is an expert in the space. I would call you a celebrity. And I know maybe your wife probably wouldn't, but I would call you a celebrity. And I'm just really excited to have Chris Kline here with us today. And this guy, we've been friends for years. We've done some business together, and people have been asking me, you've been talking about real estate and these other subjects, not cutting horses quite yet. But people have brought up this subject that I still feel, not very comfortable with, frankly. And that's why I wanted you here today about cryptocurrency. And so maybe when I say cryptocurrency, it's like saying I invest in real estate because it's that wide of a range. But I'm here to interview and kind of talk, really, just have a discussion with Chris Kline. So Chris, welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be back here. I love your new digs. This is great. It's excited. I'm here today with some special guests because I'm going to be a neighbor of yours here in Las Vegas here soon. So the taxes settings are much better than California, but excited just a little bit. But excited to talk. I think Alex called them digital commodities, which I hadn't used that word before, but I kind of like the way it's played out. But yeah, to educate, talk a little bit about history and money. There's a lot happening in the crypto space. I've been through, will be my third bull run, I guess, that we're entering into. The winters are where I get the gray hairs from. I'm sure when we first met, I didn't have any gray hair. And you have no gray hair still. So maybe I chose the wrong.
You cut it tighter when you get gray hairs?
Yes, I do. That's how they go away.
Well, good. Well, look, before we jump into this, because I'm going to turn a little time over here to Chris and also a special guest that we have. I'm excited to hear from here today. First, I just wanted to take a step back and say, for those of you that are new and that are listening today, if you are one of those individuals that has a retirement account, if you have an IRA, a traditional simple SEP, an old 401k from a previous employer, an old 403b, if you're one of those people that are kind of sick of the stock market returns and didn't realize that you can actually use your retirement funds to invest in something that you might be more familiar with, or might be more excited about, frankly, or think there might be more upside with, this is where you want to be. And we've helped thousands and thousands, collectively tens of thousands of people learn about a subject where they can unlock their retirement funds and invest them in something new and unique. And one thing I like about this subject, if you're new to this, and throughout, we're going to have our link where you can set an appointment, et cetera, to learn more about how you can use your IRA with Bitcoin and different cryptocurrencies. I want to just say that this is one of those asset classes that you can start with a little bit of money. And I've seen, that's one of the biggest questions people ask is like, I love to invest and I want to defer and have this self-directed thing with you and start a new account, but I only have $5,000. Well, this is one of those asset classes you can do that. So let's just jump into, and I'm reminded, my disclaimer here that, I am not an advisor. I don't think Chris is an advisor. We're not here to tell you and get paid. I'm not getting paid to tell you where to invest your money. I want to make sure that you understand what your options are and invest in what you know, like, and understand. That's what self-directed is all about. And we're passionate about it. I know Chris is as well. So Chris, thanks for being here. And again, why don't you just first jump in, help me answer. And you can ask questions along the way. At the end, we'll go to questions. But Chris, why would somebody want to invest in this type of asset class? Why is this so intriguing to so many people right now?
Absolutely. Well, I think the big reason, and like most self-directed assets that people look at, whether it's real estate, last couple of weeks we had gold, it's a natural hedge to currency as we know it today. So I was born in the mid 80s, and we have watched this system of capitalism that continues to just create more money, right? The monetary supply was huge. It got bigger with COVID. It keeps getting bigger. I think we just had our first $1 trillion budget for the US government. And most folks, whether doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on, you realize that this can't go on forever, and you need to be able to diversify yourself from currency as you know it. And there's case studies already happening where entire countries have abandoned their reserve currency and come and put crypto into place, and they're thriving. El Salvador is a great example. We can dive into that a little later, comparative to other countries in Central and South America that are struggling with hyperinflation. I think one of the really big things you see is it's a finite asset class. So in a world where we're going to basically print the dollar to infinity, you have something that there will only ever be 21 million created. And it's designed that way when a major event's happening this month. The fourth halving event is taking place, in which the reward for creating Bitcoin is actually a diminishing rate of return. It gets cut in half as we get closer and closer to the finish line. Unlike the reward for creating more US dollars is typically re-election for whoever the guy was that decided to print more of that money. Mm-hmm. So it's a great place where you can add another basket of diversification to your overall portfolio. And as you mentioned, not as capital intensive as some of the real estate investments out there that you may want to, that people might be looking at. Like you said, you can start with as little as 5,000 and grow from there. And you don't have to have all that capital to go into one real estate property or a real estate fund or anything like that.
So if I'm new to investing in this kind of asset class, what are some ways or things that you think I should do, and what would you recommend as far as the due diligence? Because there's a lot of options. Yeah. So where do you begin as far as choosing options, and how do you help your clients as far as that? If they call in and it's kind of new, it's like, hey, look, I want to be investing in this asset class. Where do you begin?
Yeah, it's, there's, I think, a little over 1,400 or maybe up to 2,000 different digital currencies or tokens available today. When we started, it was under 1,000. Good place to start to do your own research is a simple site called CoinMarketCap. You can go on there, and most people just go there to see prices. But in fact, if you scroll down a little bit on any coin, there's a historical record and all kinds of channels you can follow on Twitter of people that are proponents or not advocates for that particular coin. For most folks, I kind of try to say keep it simple. I mean, of our book, we're up to about, I think, 12 or 13 billion of assets under custody in our platform. And the lion's share of it is Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two major players of the space. Beyond that, the big thing to do, unlike in a lot, I mean, everybody will say this in every asset class, but I think dollar cost averaging is your best friend when it comes to cryptocurrency because it's so volatile. It went just this year alone, it's gone from 40,000 to 75,000, then back down to 65,000. And trying to time that market is just damn near impossible. And so this is a great, just setting your standard, saying, okay, I want to invest X number of dollars across the next 6 months, and I'm going to do a purchase every week of a certain amount and just stick to that regiment as opposed to having the emotions. Because I'm a crypto guy, so probably the second thing I do every morning is check the crypto price. The first thing is I open my eyes and make sure I'm still alive. And the next thing I'm doing is checking the crypto price. Most folks, I think you don't want to get too emotional around it. It's just like any other investment vehicle. Try to take the emotions out of it and just really focus on the basics of it. Keep it simple, dollar cost average, and then do your research. You will see in this space in particular, it does have a lot of these lower ranking coins down in the 1,000, 2,000. Some of them may grow up. There was the Dogecoin, Shiba, meme coin madness of 2021. But really the powerhouse players are the ones that are offering a utility that people actually need. So in parallel to real estate, if I build a house in the middle of nowhere with no roads around it, no utilities, et cetera, other than that's where I want to live when I retire, it's really useless to most people. Alone, exactly, because my wife's not coming in the middle of nowhere. But same with some tokens. I've been at conferences where people are trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. So do your homework, see who's involved with it. There's so much information on the internet today that you can go down what we call the orange pill rabbit hole. And take some time to do that. You don't have to just dive in emotion, FOMO, take my money, let's do this. Start now, do some homework, feel comfortable with it, and we have experts that can always help. So we've got a group of vice presidents of retirement solutions that can walk folks through not only how crypto works, but how it works inside of an IRA.
So would you say that, I mean, with most of your investors, like, well, I'll back up on that. Are most of all those 1,400, you said there's 1,400 or more different currencies. Can an IRA invest in all of those things?
Not necessarily. Our platform has 65 different currencies. And every day the rules are shifting a little bit. So the SEC recently, this was the big battle with Coinbase and with other exchanges, was offering what tokens may literally just be securities, and people are just trying to backdoor the rule without actually registering the security, et cetera. So it depends on how it's minted, how is it issued, what kind of what kind of assets held by the house versus what's not held by the house. But when you stay in the top 10 to 100 in the market cap size, those are probably your best bets.
Okay. Well, it sounds like is also, and look, I've bought Bitcoin twice in my life. And I got to tell you, well, what was the first time? What do you remember?
I remember that I think it went down right away and you were like, what did you make me do, Chris? I think that's exactly what you said to me.
Yeah, there was 2 times. And the one time was I messaged you, and then the second time my son messaged me, Dad, you've got to invest in this. You've got to be doing this. I'm doing it. You need to be doing it too. And I feel like I didn't go in. I kind of went into it probably like most of America. I don't know that I did a ton of due diligence. I just felt like it was part of the wave and the excitement. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure how long it was going to last. I sold I sold half of it at least. And when I sold, it was one of those, I remember texting you too, like, you don't like to say yes or no on either way direction, but I was like, all right, I'm following my gut on this. And I did good. It was up. Yeah. And I still have some left, and I actually don't know where I'm at today. I've not been following it, but I feel like your concept of buying is very similar to investing in anything, really. It sounds like you're not trying to necessarily bet on the highs and lows, correct? You're in a constant mode of investing.
Yep.
Just invest,
acquiring.
Yeah. And you're buying at different different values all the time, obviously. Are you selling? Have you been selling as well?
I have sold in a few instances, probably not the right times. Most of it, a lot of folks you'll see this time of year, like probably for the next month, you'll see folks start selling off for tax harvesting. So I harvest some losses for during, what was it, 22 was when it really started to go down. I got down to like 15 or 16 and I pulled some of it out and harvested for tax losses.
Harvesting. So can we get a tax harvesting explanation?
Well, basically just if you bought it at X and you sold it at Y and Y is well below what it was before, then you can take that as part of that as a loss on your overall taxes. But that's outside of retirements, right? So it doesn't really pertain to the self-directed players.
Well, look, Chris, I want to bring your guest on here in a minute, but before we do so, I do want to take a quick break as far as if you have questions, put it in the chat. We're going to get to questions here shortly. Love your questions. And there's so many different places we can go when we talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. That being said, also, there's also a link that's in the chat. So if you want to set an appointment just to learn more, we always encourage that this is not necessarily for everybody, but it also might mean that it is for you as well. And if you're just not sure and you have a retirement account and you want to know how to actually take the steps to use a portion of or all of those funds into one of these coins that we're talking about, we can answer those questions for you. And I think that's important. I know, Chris, you have a team that does this all day long. Yep. I don't know how many hundreds of accounts you set up every month, but lots, right? Maybe is it thousands probably a month?
Never know. It is. I think last month was about 1,000 new account holders. So
there you go. So there's, we at Horizon help of people every month in our humble home, and they help thousands of people that are opening up into cryptocurrency. Look, our job first and foremost is to give you the tools, education, and really the resources. When I say resources, we all can Google online and we can look up things, but it's also nice to have a voice on the phone. And so I know our teams can help you with that, answer questions you might have. in particular about what kind of currency that might make the most sense for you or how much, etc., we want to help you. So we'll help answer any questions you might have. So that's the commercial break I just did for you there with the links. Links are in there if you want to set an appointment to learn more, or in particular, you have an IRA. You can also, on that note, we have a lot of investors that come over to us at Horizon Trust who want to invest in real estate, or they want to invest in a business, cutting horse, whatever it may be. And then they have a balance of $5, $10, $15, $20,000. Excuse me, this is a great place for them to put a portion of their funds, if it makes sense, and they're excited about it. My son, who has a Roth, he's a little bit older than our next guest.
Yes.
She
also has one.
I know she does. That's why I bring this up. He invests in forklifts and also in Bitcoin and real estate.
He does the forklift thing.
He does the
really
forklifts.
Cool.
And I love it. This is not something he learned from Pops. And I'm learning from him, like what he's investing in. So cool. It's really cocool. So that being said, I know there's some more questions, and we're going to have more questions here, but I think we should bring on a guest. Chris, do you want to introduce our next guest?
Yes. So it's, to be honest, it's my daughter. She's 10 years old. So we have this thing. I'm a really tough dad. And I asked, so I had put out a reward every semester or trimester at her school if she makes honor roll. So last trimester, it was for her she wanted to go to a Billy Joel concert, a Stevie Nicks concert. She's kind of an old soul. And so we went down to Phoenix and we went to that. And then on this one, she came to me. She goes, Dad, I want to come to one of your podcasts. And I went, okay, cool. Of course. She goes, no, Dad, I want to be a guest on one of your podcasts. And I went, oh, my heart just melted. I was so excited. So without further ado, my daughter, Isabella Dulcinea Kline, is going to join us today. She wants to share some of her knowledge about crypto and throw some zingers at you, Greg.
I like it. Come on, Izzy. All right.
Hey,
welcome. Is this? Oh, there you go. Izzy, welcome. Is this your first podcast? First one? She's not afraid at all either. I asked her a question beforehand. She's like, I'm like born ready for this. Right? Is that from your mom or from your dad?
Probably my dad.
All right. All right. Well, I know you learned more from your mom than your dad. I definitely know that's the case. Yeah, let's scoot over a little bit.
I know you want to be close to me, but.
So before we get going here, look, the purpose of this as well, which I love, by the way. So Izzy, thanks for being here. Now I'm going to have Chris, your dad, obviously, I'm going to have him ask the first question to get us going. But before I do so, I love this because everyone, when talking about investing and self-directing and wealth and their families, they really do care about the next generation and their kids. And what can I do? How can I teach them? And how can they get their first steps in investing? And when I see and hear your daughter speak, or think about my son, it's probably the most important freaking thing in my life. And so to see this, first of all, congratulations, Chris. I mean, and Carla, I mean, this is beautiful and awesome. But I also want to share that if she has a Roth IRA, which we're going to talk about in a second, you too can have one and should have one as well. So if you're not self-directing yet, we're going to talk about how she has one and how that's even possible. But Chris, why don't you pepper your daughter with the first question or two?
Yeah. So do you want to tell them a little bit about your theory on Bitcoin, how it's different than other types of money?
It's like very different. Like every coin is like it has a different category.
Right. Your favorite coin. So there's
My favorite coin is Litecoin because it's for shopping.
Yep. And then
Litecoin?
Yep. Litecoin's for shopping, and she loves shopping.
So that's like a real thing.
Yep.
Litecoin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Bitcoin is for money, and then Ethereum is for contract.
Yep.
And then what's the other one?
Ripple.
Ripple is for
Banks.
banks.
Bank to bank transfer. Yeah.
Which one's mom's coin?
Probably Litecoin.
Yeah, Litecoin.
Like shop with it,
for
right?
sure, Litecoin. Yeah.
Shopping.
And then, in your opinion, what makes Bitcoin or cryptocurrency better than money that we know at the dollars? Didn't you bring a dollar with you over there?
Yeah. I also brought. Can I show you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That one. So that's a dollar bill that my friend got me for Christmas, and it's from the year the Federal Reserve was created, so 1915.
This is a dollar bill that people use nowadays, and this one is a very old.
Very old one, about
Very
100 and 110, 15 years old.
That's crazy.
It's older than your great grandpa.
Yeah. And then I brought some coins for you guys to take a look at. So this one is Ethereum, which we just talked about. And this one, what's this one?
That's actually a silver coin. I brought that because you like to take those as your allowance for some reason.
Yeah,
She likes to snag those out of my safe.
it's $20.
Yeah, actually 26 or 27 as of today.
Yeah, and we have tons at home, so
I don't think we need to tell her.
probably not.
But you told me something on the flight here about how Bitcoin is more than just a coin, right? It's better than paper.
Better than paper.
Yeah.
It's legendary.
Legendary.
Wow.
That's right. That's how you did it. And you want to tell everybody, what are you in 5th grade now?
I'm in 5th grade.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm in 4th, but I'm going to 5th grade.
Okay.
Going to 5th grade.
Wow.
And you have a Roth IRA, right? So we put Bitcoin and Ethereum in there because you had earned income from working for dad, which is a great way to have her do some work. She'll probably send me an invoice for today's special guest spot.
At least $6,000.
At least for this year's contribution, right?
Yeah.
And what do you plan on doing with that someday with your Roth IRA?
I want to invest this in my college and other things as well, for my future.
For your future. And that's really a big thing, right? Because, grandpa, or as you call him, Ampa owns Ampa owns crypto as well. And I built the first Bitcoin retirement plan. And now you, as the 3rd generation of crypto holders in our family.
I'm gonna use all my dad's money for my college.
I love it. So are you able to see, can you log on your account and see your Bitcoin or cryptocurrency that you have in your account?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see it all the time.
It's right next to the ChatGPT tab she loves talking to the ChatGPT.
AI is my best friend.
I save her chats. They're so adorable. She'll tell them you are my best friend. And I'm sure your teachers will be happy to know you're already using ChatGPT at this age.
Well, good. Well, so you've got a Roth IRA.
Yep.
You got some income from income because you're working for dad a little bit, right?
Yep.
And you're investing in Bitcoin. Do you invest in anything else, or is Bitcoin or cryptocurrency kind of your core kind of investment strategy?
Just invest in Bitcoin and stuff. That's just my strategy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We did look up. So one thing I did with her was she wanted to buy some stocks. And I said, well, what kind of stuff are you into? And she said, well, Dad, I love apps. So you play, what's that one? Toca Boca, right?
I love playing Toca Boca.
Toca Boca is the jam. And they buy these Toca Bucks. And it's that's how they make money. I said, why don't we go and figure out who owns Toca Boca? Turns out it's the same guys that made Farmville a long time ago. Remember when your grandma would be sending you all the requests for Farmville? Zynga. And so she got some Zynga shares as well. And that's just little things that she adds into the portfolio in her self-directed IRA.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, look, I'm going to explain one thing for kind of those that are listening in today. The process, and Chris, I'd love for you or Izzy to correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the process as far as an individual wanting to invest in different cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, is very simple. I think part of the reason we wanted to have Izzy on here is one is she's beautiful, engaging, and smart, and well beyond her years. It's also to share that you also can do this. Yep. And so the first step is really, if you're listening to this for the first time and you have an old IRA or you don't have an account, you can set up a self-directed IRA with us at Horizon Trust. Yep. You get your money there. And once it's there, you establish
Bitcoin,
a Bitcoin account. And that money is then transferred from Horizon, just like it would be to a real estate transaction, to be transferred to Bitcoin. Yeah. And then you have your own platform that you can log into, and the money's there where you can buy and sell different currencies. And so it is a very simple process. And so it sounds like that's what she's doing, a little bit with maybe some dad's help, and but also maybe not too much help. I got it. It's mostly you, a little bit of him. I got it. I got it. But that being said, it is as easy as that. I remember when I did it, I probably know less about it than Izzy, and I did it after talking to you and also my son Carson, and just getting it set up is the first step. I talk about kind of motivational things, and if you're one of those people that are sick of the stock market or sick of or maybe don't have the confidence in the traditional marketplace, this is definitely one of those places for you that you can look into and start with minimal amount of money. And again, that's why I like it, because it can make anybody an investor.
Yep.
So what do you, Izzy, just, and we'll go to some questions here in about 5 minutes or so, but Chris, did I first? Is that the process? Is that accurate?
And then also, if you're an existing Horizon holder, you can sign up and fund your account in about a day. So if it's something that you really want to get started with, because we built everything together, right? We put the platform. So if you're at Horizon, you can you'll go to our platform, you set up an account, and then when it asks you where your current IRA is, you put Horizon. Our team knows, and they know that it's just a matter of, I think, one e-sign form, and they choose how much they want to put. And the beauty is you can go right back to whatever you want to do later. So say that your cycle's done and you've made the money you want to make on crypto in a couple of years. I'm a long-term hodler. I don't know when she'll sell.
College.
Yeah. Hopefully, maybe we'll.
It's good. You don't have to pay for college.
$30 for college.
Yeah.
What about that Bitcoin for later? Right?
Bitcoin is later.
It's for later. It's for your retirement, right? And then you can go back, and we've got folks that are coming from the Bitcoin years, and now we're back. I mean, the first client bought at $200 a Bitcoin, $250 a Bitcoin. It was Ed Moy, the former director of the U.S. Mint. And he's held, but other folks around his time period, they've sold off, and I think they've gone into some of the real estate things that you guys do at Horizon. So you're in this self-directed umbrella. You're not just in this specialized Bitcoin IRA. There's a lot that you can do outside of it, and kind of they're very harmonious with each other.
That's one thing I love. And look, I say this about other trust companies, so don't take this the wrong way, Chris. Our goal is we want to educate and inform. And if you use another trust company, so be it. Obviously, we'd love for you to work with us because I feel like our service is the absolute best. We're the quickest. That being the case, you also can go on your own and try to figure out and or buy different cryptocurrencies. There's other platforms as well. But tell us a little bit more, like as far as like the securities. I know you have some certain things that are in place that are, I think, really important.
Yes.
When out there buying and what gives me comfort that that I'm safe when I buy and own something. Can you explain that? I don't know if Izzy wants to explain it.
Are you well versed on wallets yet? So we talk about the keys, right? And we use BitGo.
Yeah, BitGo.
We're exclusive with BitGo. And
what is BitGo?
It's a key. It's a wallet and key provider, right?
It provides
the vault.
Yeah, the vault.
Yep, the vault that you put it in. So think about your wallet as kind of like your vault, where if you had gold and silver stored in a safety deposit box, or actual depository like Brinks or Delaware Depository. When we first built this back in 2016, we partnered exclusively with BitGo, and they're kind of like the Brinks of the crypto space. They've got guys sitting in rooms just thinking of things that can go wrong. They were coming to us to talk about deep fakes with video verification calls back 2 years ago, and now that's happening where all kinds of folks are being deep faked with AI and things like that. The way keys work are you can have one key or multiple keys. One key is risky because, remember I have that one ledger at home and I couldn't find the seed, and you were like, and I was freaking out, but we've had the backup key in the safety deposit box.
Yeah.
So you have to build these layers of custody for yourself. This is easy in Turkey with our platform. Is you come in, everything is held off of the platform. It's behind in segregated cold storage is what they're called. So there's multiple keys. So Izzy's got a key, I got a key. We got to put both keys in at the same time and turn them like a nuclear silo in order for us to access that. And we can only use those keys if we speak with you on a video verification and liveness test.
Wait, I'm confused. This is a virtual key or a real key?
It's a virtual.
It's a virtual.
Okay, all right.
But
I just wanted to clarify.
I don't recommend one key.
I don't recommend one key either. Good call, Shooting. You always want to have multiple keys and backups.
Okay.
I call her by her nickname. It's Isabella. So.
Yeah, she gave you the look.
She gave you that look.
So tell me, how is that? I mean, all platforms, just like all trust companies, aren't created equal.
Yeah.
We can do the same thing, but there's certain things that were different. That's one, I'd say, a competitive advantage that you have, correct? I mean, This is a big deal.
Yeah, yes. The security is a big thing.
It's a huge thing. It's probably one of the most important things people talk about when cryptocurrency. It's like, that's someone could lose their key, they lose their money. Like this, I feel like is
or
a major thing.
In a group like FTX or Celsius, where they were taking people's funds and then they were leveraging them, putting them in staking long contracts. And then when more dollars are leaving the ecosystem as a businessman than are coming in, you get yourself in a mix and you become insolvent. And that's basically what happened to those groups. I think beyond that, a page out of your book, the human element. A lot of these crypto companies, Coinbase, not a bad company, but they are focused on the digital, right? They don't bring the human touch to this. And we, like you did, you got your room of folks that are always there to help people with IRAs. Same here with Bitcoin and crypto. There's somebody you can get on the phone, not just, Izzy might answer the phone if it's really busy. Maybe after this halving run, we might have to put it back.
She would hold her own.
I think she'd be pretty good amongst the guys out there. And she used to come to the floor every day after school, and when before COVID, when we had an office, she'd have her clipboard, and she'd ask me to print out the roster. So I'd print the roster out, and she would go desk to desk and ask how many phone calls have they made today, how many people have they helped out today, and then she'd give them a sad face or a happy face, and then bring it back.
Love it.
That was she's basically a natural born sales manager.
Love it.
Yeah. And I also we had a whiteboard in the office, and I also didn't I write other things on that too?
Motivational quotes.
Yeah. I also wrote about Bitcoin too, on the whiteboard.
Yes. Yep. And drew pictures for us.
Drew lots of pictures.
So look, I actually wanted to share something since Izzy's here. One of the questions I get asked all the time is, wow, this self-directed message and concepts is great. In fact, it's so great that I'm going to do it, they say. And they're like, I'm going to do it for my kids. And then they ask me, did you do it for your kids? I have 5 kids now. And the answer is no, I didn't. And I don't feel bad about it because all of my kids were not like Izzy. They were not interested and engaged. And I am a big proponent on earning and hustling for what you get. And so my son now is doing that. He's got his Roth, and my daughter is now finally starting to talk about some financial things. And so I am not here to tell you that every kid needs to have a Roth. My message first and foremost is if you don't have a self-directed account and you're not investing in what you know, like, and understand, you're missing the boat. Everyone should be investing in deferring or avoiding taxes and investing what you like and know and understand. Yep. And she obviously loves, and I'm speaking for her right now, loves her father, and loves what he does today, and is learning and engaged about it, and probably likes it more than school, frankly, after talking to her about school before she came on here, and that's the right kind of person that should be self-directing. And that's why she is self-directing. So congratulations. I'm very proud of you. And I know you're not my child, but that means a lot as a father, seeing someone so young, so engaged. So that being said, do you have any other questions, Chris, or should we turn some time over to
let's see what
Claudia?
folks are asking. I think that'd be great. Claudia, you got some questions for us?
Claudia. So hold on here. I know you can't see Claudia, but Claudia is normally here next to Chris.
Izzy stole the stage.
Izzy stole the stage. And so, in fact, Claudia can take my seat if she'd like, but Claudia's here. As most of you all know, Claudia has been on our team for a long time, and she oversees all new business and new affiliates and et cetera. So if you are ever wondering if this is the right thing for you, her and her team will help you kind of answer questions. And so, and you'll get to see her in a second. So you're not going to be totally hidden, Claudia. But for those of you who have questions, let's start hitting some questions, some hard ones for Izzy and Chris.
Yeah. So I do have a good question here. It says last time we were talking about gold, now we're talking about crypto, both at an all-time high. So they're saying, isn't it bad to buy at an all-time high? And can you go over how that works?
Yeah, I mean, gold just hit it just a few weeks in the week since you did yours. Gold is more of a store of value concept, and you can actually buy gold on our platform as well. We have what's known as digital gold. There's an inventory of gold in these Billy bullion bars, like 100-ounce bars at Brinks Depository, and there's a blockchain over the top of them, and you can buy fractional sizes of gold. So instead of having to buy 1 ounce or a 10th ounce, you can put 0.00001 ounces. It's really more of a hold long-term. Most of the gold I have, her grandkids will probably have at the end of the day. It's something that I don't plan on spending. Again, if things go up and down, like crypto obviously is at it was 71,000 yesterday or 2 days ago, now back down to 65. This is where dollar cost averaging really helps. But what you have, especially with crypto, is that finite. So gold, a little different. There's a guy that works for us. He's from NASA. He's our chief product officer. And he said the other day that technically, and he's really nerdy, and I love this guy. He goes, technically, I guess an asteroid could be mined, or maybe like a small asteroid might hit the Earth and has gold on it, and then the value, more gold will become available. And I said, well, technically, a lot of things can happen, Michael. But he's from NASA.
Big stretch.
Yeah, it's a big stretch. But Bitcoin will forever be only 21 million. And so this, let's talk a little bit about history of money. So this dollar, this one.
Well, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on, Chris. I want to interrupt here. I do feel like the dollar the cash is probably the least as far as a list of things you want to be holding.
Yes. Yes.
So-
even at great interest rates that were being paid out, even at those.
That's right. So you'd rather have gold or precious metals before the dollar.
Before the dollar. Yeah.
Okay. So sorry, go ahead. You're
Yeah.
going to share.
And so that dollar lost 97% of its purchasing power since it was made. It's actually worth more now because some old lady took it and put it in a case and saved it, and it's a collectible, so to speak. But what was a dollar in 1913 to what is a dollar today? We all know the dollar doesn't go that far. I mean, they don't even make coins anymore because it costs more to make a penny than it is what a penny's worth. Oh, that is the back. And so as that, and right now with what's happening with inflation, it's the exact opposite of what cryptocurrency is doing, where it's saying we're going to actually punish the creators of crypto. Every time we get to the halving block, which this next one will happen in about 2 or 3 weeks, right around tax time, that the amount of Bitcoin that people would get to create that block as a reward is going to be cut in half, and then cut half again. At the same time, in order to create that Bitcoin, that laptop you had used to be able to make the first Bitcoins with those laptops. The CPU you needed was very minimal. Now you need rooms, if you've ever seen these things, of ant miners, and they're figuring out ways to use coolants where they're putting the ant miners inside of coolants so that they don't take as much energy to cool them off and things like that. In fact, El Salvador is using volcanic power. So I don't know if you know the history about El Salvador, but every about 40 or 50 years, a volcano comes through and just decimates the country. And so they decided to flip it on the coin, no pun intended, and they use the geothermal power to mine Bitcoin now, which is just amazing. But it'll get harder and harder and harder, to even where you're going to need 5 volcanoes to mine just one Bitcoin. And you'll be so close to that 21 million mark that the reward for mining that block is going to be so tiny. And so again, I think that just like real estate, there's only so many houses and so much land that's out there. There's only so much Bitcoin. Dollar cost averaging is huge, but when people told me, I've heard it, Bitcoin's dead a million times at this point. I've only been in this game for about 7 or 8 years. Is it at all-time highs? Yeah. Will it ebb and flow? Volatility is functional. Get yourself in position and then buy the dips. If you say, hey, I want to do about 10,000 or so over the next 6 months, just put your little tracker on. Actually, Bitcoin IRA's app can give you push notifications for the levels that you're looking for. So, hey, I know it's going to go down to 50. Now, for every guy that says I'm waiting for it to go back down to 50, there's guys that are thinking it's going to be 100 before the end of the year. I don't make predictions because I wouldn't have a job at some point, but there is a cause for both of those arguments. Where do you think Bitcoin's? She can get away with it, right? You're not SEC registered. What do you think Bitcoin's going to be at by the end of the year as far as price?
Probably. I'm not really sure. It could be anything.
It could be anything, right?
Oh, she's already learning.
She's already learning.
Safe answer.
But you think also about just our economy overall. We live in California. We're out here looking at houses because we're going to move to Vegas. And yesterday or 2 days ago, they announced the minimum wage went up 22% or 21%. So if you were making $16 an hour in California, you now make $20 an hour. I went to my local Starbucks right down the street from my house. And this coffee that I always get, the price of it, can you guess how much Starbucks increased the price of that cup of coffee? It wasn't 20%, it was 33%. They increased the cost of it. So businesses they're not just trying to keep up with inflation or inflation of wages, they're profiting off of those things.
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
And that's where things are just going to get more expensive. So having a little bit of this stuff sitting around as a store of value for when the day comes that your dollars just can't keep up. We've never seen hyperinflation here. We've seen it in 1920s Weimar Republic, Germany was really bad. There was a story of a guy that would take a wheelbarrow full of German marks to the grocery store to buy groceries for their family. And the grocer would look at him and he actually dumped the marks out into the street, the money into the street, and he took the wheelbarrow as payment because the marks were useless. I'm not a doomsdayer, but I will tell you that if we don't get inflation under control, which right now it does not seem to be the priority of anybody in government, we're gonna struggle with it. And the opposite of El Salvador is Argentina. They had a chance to do crypto like El Salvador did, and the World Bank and IMF, International Monetary Fund, came in and said, if you do what El Salvador is doing, we're cutting off the checks. We're not going to pay you anymore. And then most of their economy was bolstered by that investment capital from those places. So they said, yes, sir. We're sorry, sir. We didn't mean to do that. And they went and they abandoned it. And now they are at 3,000% hyperinflation this year, while their neighbors to the north, El Salvador, is thriving with the decision they made. And they are about to elect a new president, young guy like us. Well, more like you. I'm not that young anymore. The grays come from the winters, or maybe as young as her. new president's going to come in Argentina that is very pro crypto and may be doing the same thing. And you might see that all across the United States is actually behind in the adoption rates of cryptocurrency because we have one of the most robust regulatory environments out there. And we got, I mean, I think what 60% of Congress has been there for 75% of their life. They're a little out of touch. That's why we are alternative type guys. That was a long answer to that question. Sorry, Claudia. What do you think? Anyone want to add to that, Izzy?
Bitcoin could be anything.
There you go. I like it.
Drop mic.
Claudia, what else you got? What other questions?
All right. So I have James that is asking, how does it work when I have a Horizon account so that I can buy crypto? Is it going to show in my portfolio or how does that work?
Yes. So we report back, I think, weekly or so to you guys have a login for Horizon, right? So they would see the holdings that are over at the Bitcoin, and it wouldn't be like instant current day-to-day pricing or minute-by-minute pricing. But you would have a separate login at Bitcoin IRA where the Horizon, there's a sub account that we create. And if you took 5 or 10,000 from your Horizon account, put it over there, then you would be able to track, buy, sell, swap real time.
Yeah. So you're going to have a login with us at Horizon Trust Company, and then you have a login at Bitcoin as well. And so you can log into Bitcoin and get live real time stuff. And then when you want to go sell, when you sell or buy, but let's say you want to sell, you can sell and then move that money back into your Horizon account. So that's how it typically works.
You log into yours, right, Chubi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it will be an asset in your account. So just like you see any other asset, it'll show as Bitcoin. And then when you go to your Bitcoin portal, you'll be able to buy and sell from it.
And it doesn't change your tax setting at all. If you have a Roth IRA or a traditional or a SEP or a simple, or you guys do a lot of solo Ks here. If you have any of those, it's the same thing. It's just a sub account within that you will have access to the cryptocurrency with.
So if we have a client that's interested in talking to somebody on your team, how does that work?
So they can call right now. I bet the guys are waiting to answer because I know they're all watching because they wanted to see Izzy. Our 800 number is 877-936-7175. Somebody's there pretty much 6 a.m. to about 7 p.m.
Did you say you have a gift as well? I'm sorry. Why don't you just throw into the gift right now?
Oh, yes. So we have special pricing for Horizon folks. If you talk to anybody, there's a discount on the setup fees and the ongoing fees for it. And because it's tax season, we have our biggest giveaway yet. You can get up to $500 in cash back for how much you invest. So I think if you do up to 100,000 in crypto, you get $500 gift card. And then it goes down, tiers down from there. So, and you get to, because you're Horizon folks, we're going to let you double dip because we have such a good relationship. So you get this extra savings for Horizon plus the tax special that we have going on right now.
Love it. Thank you.
And I have a gift for you. I got one of these cool vests coming for you.
I love it.
I think Claudia looked better in it though.
She would definitely look better.
Izzy wore hers on the flight here, and how many people asked you to say go Bitcoin? There's a lot, right?
I would say this is a guesstimation, probably like around 6 or 7 people.
That said something.
You should do all our disclaimers.
She's like a walking asterisk, right?
Perhaps, maybe.
Just a guesstimation.
So we have James asking, what will the commission be each year to buy or sell for crypto?
So if you're buying or selling, there is a transaction fee of 2%. And then ongoing, there is a 8 bips a month for security. So 0.0008 times the balance of your account that can be collected by either credit card. Some folks use their crypto or cash in their account. And that pays for the insurance. The security setups are exclusive with BitGo, all that kind of stuff. That's the ongoing. And if you're an active trader, which actually I would say most folks do about one, maybe a half a trade a year. And it's usually a new coin that comes out. So like Izzy she started with Bitcoin and then moved some of it over to Ethereum because we had added the coin. Right now we have 6. I don't see us adding any additionals for the rest of this year. But you never know. There's always something new. There's always somebody inventing something new out there.
Yeah, for sure. Somebody wants you to talk a little bit about Bitcoin and Bitcoin NFT.
Ooh, NFTs or ETF. Was it ETF or?
No, it's an NFT. So maybe they mean ETF.
He might have meant because NFTs
make more sense.
Yeah, NFTs they were a little ahead of the game. They're going to be cool someday. No, you can't buy them with your IRA. They're collectible. You do. Yeah. Okay. I see it. It is NFT. So NFTs will have their day. I think this generation right here is going to live by them. kids these days, our generation is about having the new Nikes, right? Or the new Jordans. And at some point, it's going to be about having the new digital something, right? The new digital asset of some sort that you can, is it called stunting, or what do you guys call it when you guys show something off? You guys, is it
Like we show some
flexing?
flexing and like
Yeah.
we're like flexing like lots of things like
Yeah.
our new clothes, shoes.
And
like,
Utoka Boca accounts, right? Like they like to go into their apps and show off the houses that they built in Roblox and things like that.
Wow,
So
okay, all right,
that's where you'll see NFTs grow up. The ETF, which just came out in January, and I'm glad that you asked about this. What's the client? What's the client's name?
Billy Joe Smith.
Oh, Billy Joe. Awesome. Hi, Billy Joe. So the ETF, the big difference between the two is kind of like I had a guy a long time ago that said, if the boat's going down, do you want a life jacket or do you want a life jacket certificate? And really, an ETF is a great, easy. You remember who used to say that?
Yeah.
Yep. And the really easy way to think about is ETF is just a share or a stock. It's an IOU of something. You can't take the distribution of it. So that's another awesome thing, right? When you're in this self-directed world, you reach that ripe age of retirement, you can start taking distributions of assets in kind. So people take out real estate property, right? At some point, people will take their crypto and move it from their IRA wallet over to a non-IRA wallet and use the distribution. Can't do that with the ETFs. You also don't have one-to-one ratio. So for every Bitcoin that you buy on our platform is in the wallet segregated for your IRA. ETFs, they have kind of like banks. They're going to have camel requirements where it's like, well, a certain percentage has to be this way. And the biggest, and I think this is the most important difference, is it doesn't have trading hours. So Bitcoin is a 24-hour, 365, Christmas, Izzy's birthday, Greg's birthday, any day of the week, Monday through Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. Actually, I think we just did a study that 75% of the transactions on our platform, which we're up to about 10 billion now, I think, over time, they all are after hours. They're not done 9 to 5.
Interesting.
People trade. And if you watch the crypto prices on Mondays, so Sunday night into Mondays, you will continue to see this kind of hockey stick that's happening because the ETF markets are about to open. All those people that wanted to trade all weekend or all night or otherwise, like Good Friday, or I think were the markets closed for Good Friday? I can't remember if they closed for
Friday is
Banks were open.
No, they were open.
They were open.
Mhm.
Banks were open.
Yeah.
Good Friday. Good Friday. You had just had that.
yeah.
She goes to a Catholic school, so it was a big
Yeah.
deal for her. Yeah, St. Mel. But those folks, that's the big thing. So distribution, one-to-one ratio, not an IOU, and tradable 24/7, 365.
That's great.
So what are the advantages of ETF?
The ETF is, having both is not a bad thing. It's easy, quick exposure. You can go to your Fidelity if you have those accounts. There are some groups that aren't offering it right now, like Vanguard has said they're not going to offer it. Everybody's offering it for no fees right now. So it's like the get them in for, but eventually they're going to realize the cost of this. And those rates are going to go up. They'll have a security fee. I think it's actually, we're at 8 bips. They are going to be at around 30 to 40 basis points. So about like almost 3 to 4 times as much to keep your crypto safe. And they're not using BitGo, which in my opinion is the brinks of the security industry.
Yeah. Claudia, what else you got? You got any other questions?
Yeah, we have David and Dorothy that are asking, how safe is privately held top of the line wallet that is a few years old?
Not
Safety is only in the hands of the person with it. I used to always say you can drive. What's the safest car out there? We have a Mercedes-Benz E-Class, right?
Yes.
Safest car on the road. But when my wife's driving it, it feels like the least safest car on the road. In fact,
back.
I do sit in the back seat. I do not sit in the front seat. I'll sit in the back with her and I'll play games or whatever because I just can't watch. But you could take the safest car in America.
You're also in LA. So,
Yeah, that's true. You can take. I don't know. These Vegas drivers are pretty intense too. You can take the safest car in the world and drive it off of a cliff, right? What you want to make sure you're doing is, whatever you have, do you have a backup key? Did you write down the seed? Did you make a copy of the seed and put it somewhere safe? So not just like your sock drawer, but in a third party location, like geographically away from everything else. So your house burned down, you would want that piece of paper so that you can recover. That's your seed. Your seed is kind of like your recovery key. It's a series. When you open up and create the first wallet address, it's like 24 one-word associations that you write down. They're hard to use. I don't know how old these folks are, but they're very small. They're usually very small, and you have to do a lot of movements. They're a little finicky when you put them into a computer, the USB. But generally speaking, if you're cold storage, offline ledger wallets like that, you're in a pretty good space. Where it becomes kind of dangerous is, do your kids know where the safety key is? Do they know where the seed's at? Because one of the things that I love, we have folks that will do not just IRA accounts with us, but they'll do non-IRAs because they want to have $50,000 or $60,000 of Bitcoin. And they want, if they die tomorrow, they want to know that it goes just like everything else. Here's my beneficiaries. Here's who has to get it. And those folks don't have to go and figure out how to use the ledger, or where did grandmas bury the gold in the backyard, right? They don't have the treasure map to get through it.
Need the map.
Yep, you need the map. So yeah, so I think they're not terrible things, but it's like I said, you can have the safest car on the road, but if you drive it like a maniac, it's not safe anymore.
Yeah, that's why it sits in the back.
Okay.
Phone number one more time.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Do you remember the number, Julie?
0.
Nope. But who should she have to talk to? Who's your favorite guy that you like to talk to over there?
Who?
Of the guys that do that, the retirement specialists,
That.
like my team that I'd meet with, and you come to the meetings.
Talk to Tommy. He's watching.
Oh, I bet he is.
I like to talk to
Matt's a pretty nice guy too, right?
Matt.
And Scott's at that really low voice,
Yeah.
that baritone voice. So yeah, we got any of those guys, and you can reach them at 877-936-7175.
And again, there's links on here. So look in the chat, click a link, set an appointment with us. Our team at Horizon Trust Company or Bitcoin will help you guys answer any questions you've got. I think we'll wrap up with, I've got an important question, really mostly for Izzy. So 2 questions for you, Izzy. First, what is your favorite thing about your mother?
Is that she always like there's lots of things that I like
Just
about my
one.
mom.
What's your favorite thing?
Probably there's lots of things. It's very hard.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Give us one.
Probably like we love to like go shopping, so she allows me to go shopping a lot. That's one thing I like about her. And that's pretty much it.
She did that awesome hairdo you have.
Yeah.
She did. She crushed your hair.
Yeah.
Your mom's. I stumped her. I like that. This is going to be a harder question. What's the thing you like the least about your dad?
Is that when we do homework, when we do homework,
I'm a tough tutor, huh?
he's a tough tutor.
There you go. You heard it here. You're welcome. Chris, so tell us just one thing that you're most looking forward to this next year.
Other than moving, I'm pretty excited. I think it's gonna be a fun little adventure. Carla's never left Los Angeles. She's born and raised there. I'm originally from Colorado, so it's a new adventure for all of us. Yes, you are definitely born and raised there. I'm excited about what comes after the halving event is a big thing for me. I think that there's usually, if you look historically, the way that the charts move, that it gets pretty wild and crazy. I'd say that that's in the professional side of things. But I'm really excited because I think Izzy has a chance of going 3 for 3 for honor roll. So now I've got to figure out what she's going to ask for the next one. So we got the Billy Joel concert. She got to come do this today. So don't give her any crazy ideas, Claudia.
Yeah, kind of a big deal. Well, look, I wanted to share, look, thanks a lot for being here today, both of you and Mom as well. And so if you're interested in learning more and understanding more about how this works or any other kind of alternative asset class, please contact us. There's no hard sale. If you've noticed, most of our clients love working with us because we want to educate first. That's very important to us. And we are a boutique firm that helps you do that. And I'd say one thing that I love that that I'm sure Camilo's told me this, so I wanted to share with one of his partners. It said, Chris just wanted to, Chris loves Horizon Trust. It's his favorite trust company. So anyways, thanks for being here today, and hope we answered your questions. If not, please set an appointment, and look forward to talking to you. Thanks.
Thanks for having us.